Hi everyone, this video is a part of Macquarie University's coding tutorials, and today we'll be looking at some of the standard string methods. The methods that I'm going to talk about today are length, char at, index of, last index of, and substring. So let's begin. As we've seen before, a string is created and initialized like this. So here I'm initializing the string name to messy. The first method that operates on a string object, and that is done by calling string variable, which is actually an object, dot, whatever method name is there, and then it can also have some parameters. Length does not have any parameters. String dot length gives you the number of characters in that string. In this case, there are 5 characters in the string messy. So that's what I'm going to get. The second method is char at. So I call it as whatever string I have, name, dot char at, and char at accepts or expects an integer value, and if that value is valid, it's a valid index, it returns the character at that index. Just like arrays, the first character is at index 0, the second at index 1, the third at index 2, and likewise, the ith character will be at index I minus 1. So I can display the first character as name.char at 0 and the last character as name.char at, and instead of typing it 4 like this, we should type name.length minus 1, because then I don't care if the name changes. The name can become Ronaldo and my program will still work. But if you type in 4 hard-coded, it won't work if the actual name changes. Let's just run this program right now. So the first 2 or 3 println statements, and you can see that the number of characters is 5. The first character is the character M, and the last character is character I. How did I get the double quotes and single quotes to be output? You can see in the program, which should be attached to the video. Now, because I can access each character at index 0, 1, 2, 3 till name.length minus 1, I can go through these characters using a loop. So I go for every single index from 0 to name.length minus 1, and that's why I've got less than, just like an array, and display that character. I'm doing some tiny little fancy things to give a nice output, and you can see that it says the characters are M, E, S, S, and I. The two next functions, which are index of and last index of, give you the first index at which the parsed character or string exists, and the last index at which the parsed character or string exists. In this case, I'm looking for the first index at which S exists and the last index at which S exists in messy. You can see that index 0, 1, and 2 is where the first S, and index 3 is where the last S exists. So it will display first instance at index 2 and the last instance at index 3. If you pass a character that doesn't exist, the method returns -1. So that's how you check that the character does not exist in the string. Similarly, I can check if there is an occurrence of double S in the string. So this method also accepts a string as a parameter. Here you can see that the string double S exists only once, and it exists starting at index 2. So both index of and last index of return the value 2. The next function that we're going to take a look at is substring with a single parameter. When the substring method is called on a string with a single index, it extracts the substring starting from that index, which is 1, all the way to the end of the string and returns that string. Please note that the original string is not modified. So in this case, I want the string starting from index 1 all the way to the end, and that will give me SE. You can see that it's SE. Of course, if you pass an invalid character like 10, because the index 10 doesn't exist in that string, I will get a string index out of bounds exception. So that's how you take a look at what is the error and where is the error happening, and then work accordingly. Similarly, you cannot pass index -8 because any negative index is invalid. There you go. So we'll go back to 1. The second version of substring accepts two parameters, two integers, and returns the string starting from the first index, including it, to the second index, but excluding it. So here I'm getting string starting from index 1 to name.length -1. So it will have the string at character at index 1, 2, 3, till name.length -2, but not at index name.length -1. So that's how substring works. It's inclusive on the left, but exclusive on the right. So this will give me ESSS. Again, same logic exists. If you pass 1, 3, it gives you the substring starting at index 1, including it, to before index 3. So this will be ES only. Your starting index cannot be less than your ending index, in which case it will return string out of bounds exception. What happens if your starting and ending index are the same? Because you're really saying including 2, but excluding 2. So there's a paradox there. So in this case, it's actually not included. And what you get is an empty string. Because you're saying from 2 to 2, but excluding 2. Anyways, but just semantics. So when the starting index and the ending index are the same, it returns an empty string. So I hope it helps you with these 5 methods, and I'll see you soon.